test. I think our mics are a little low. Are we okay? Yeah.
We're still working on it. Actually, we're gonna be doing some upgrades. He's been having a little bit of a challenge of trying to get the microphone, so hopefully they're working tonight.
All right. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do, Mayor. We do have one item that had to be added last minute, as added as a special meeting, so we're gonna run that concurrent, and that'll become item number 510 on the consent calendar, which is the Risk and Resiliency Program Amendment uh, task order. So we're just gonna add that to the current meeting as number 510.
Okay. Any other changes? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Agenda is approved with the changes. Item 2, awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. We have none. Moving on to citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for follow-up and a report. Citizen comments submitted in writing to the city clerk by 5 p.m. on the day of the city council meeting shall be distributed to the city council and included in the record. However, they will not be read. Do we have any citizens' comments? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I sat a little bit closer to the mic this time, so I don't have to wobble across the floor. Chuck Aiden of the local Kalingas Lions Club just wanted to reminder of our spaghetti dinner is coming up on May 23rd. I'd like to personally thank the city for letting us use their sign to advertise. I saw it today, and she did an amazing job on it. So just a reminder, spaghetti dinner's coming up August 23rd, $15 a ticket. And if you're interested in getting any tickets, let me know because I'm in charge of that. And that was it. Just wanted to thank the city for letting us put it up on their LED screen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else for citizens' comment? Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nick Sahota. I'm honored to be here with you tonight. And I'm lifelong resident of Central Valley, an active farmer over 35 years and a business owner for more than 25 years. And I currently is a trustee with the Selma Unified School District. And I'm owner of the Central Valley Engineering and Surveying, where I have spent over 20 years working closely with a community like yours in an infrastructure development and a long-term planning. I'm here tonight because I'm running for Fresno County Board of Supervisor District 4. But more importantly, I'm because Klinga is a matter to me. Klinga represents something very important in our valley, a hardworking community built on agriculture, energy. This is the city that understand what it means to adopt a work through challenges and they keep moving forward. Like many rural communities, Klinga faces real issues, water liability, economics opportunities, infrastructure needs, and making sure the local industry can continue to operate and grow. These are not the small issues. They are the requires a leadership that understand them firsthand. As a farmer and engineering, I understand how critical water, land infrastructures are in your future. As a business owner, I understand how important it is to create an environment where local businesses can grow, invest, and bring jobs to the community. And someone who has worked through the valley, I understand the one-size-fit-all solutions don't work for rural cities like Kalinga. We need a smart, practical planning to protect the agriculture and support energy and production while also opening the door for a new industry and a job creation. We need to invest in infrastructure that supports growth, not just today, but for the next generation of our kids. And we need to make sure the community like Kalinga have a strong voice in a county level, not overlooked, but respected and prioritize it. If elected, I will work, bring the kind of leadership that listen, that understand, and deliver results. This campaign is not about me, it's about protecting our farmlands, securing our water, strengthening our local economy, and making sure rural communities like Klinga continue to thrive. I look forward earning your trust, working together, supporting future of Klinga. Thank you for your time, and God bless Klinga and Central Valley. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you so much. And I think we might have a question from one of our council members if you're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to.
First of all, what was it?
Nick, N-I-C-K, Sahota, S-A-H-O-T-A. And I'm a resident of Selma.
First of all, thank you for coming to our town and presenting yourself.
Appreciate it.
I know I've experienced a lot of candidates of running for supervisor. Just one thing, I speak for myself, not just a council member, but as a resident of Kalinga, and being outside of the valley, being the what we call stepchild of Fresno County. I know we've seen a lot of candidates come up and vow their future items that what they want to do as supervisors towards our community. What reassuring is it that you will fulfill those wishes? Because throughout the years, a lot of supervisors have really left us out, but
Absolutely.
they seek our votes, but yet we are the ones as a community rebuilding our own community.
I totally agreed with you, no doubt. And being a farmer, active 35 years plus, and a business owners, running a multiple developments in a lot of different cities, and I understand what you're talking about. I understand the kids are future. That what we need to create a jobs for them. We need a smart planning. We need to be work with the counties and the city, make these a such way the developments that benefits our local residents. And I have different view than other candidates. We understand that because my background is practical experience, and what I say I do, and we done so many multiple multi-million dollar projects. We handle that. I know this communities needs to be grow. We needs to be our future needs to be such way that our new generation comes, they have score jobs here. Right now, we have a lot of problems. It's not only the water issue, the agriculture issues. We got people's having so hard time out there. Minimum wages, and with the median income, it's like around 60,000. Working husband, wife can't even afford a house. And what as a supervisor, if I were to be a supervisor, I works with engineer with your planning and make a such way affordable those housing. We need more marketing, and nobody have done it. Buddy Mendes on this seat when there's so many years haven't done nothing. We need these marketing. We need to open these. We have Highway 5 right here, Interstate 5. We're getting high speed rail, right? We have a Fresno Airport International. We could bring more jobs into here from Silicon Valley to industrial LA. They could come here and invest in it, but we got to provide them with tools. And that's why I think as a Klinga is very a community unique, and we need more helps out here, And I see that people can't even afford insurance, being as a me. And yes, the government doing fine over there in Fresno counties, they get their stuff. But what about these people, their jobs? And we need to do something on it. And my vision is totally different. And I'd be happy to discuss with you whenever you want to have time. I would love to become here. And this is not for me, like as I said, this election, it's very important for cities like you. And I understand every aspect of what we need to be make improvements. There's economic developments we need. Yes, we need to do the agriculture, protect our waters, and also we got to leave for our kids something belly. Look at the roads are broken. If I were to be on the board, the first thing is we want to create these nice roads out there, county roads are. You go to Italy, you go to Germany, you go over there, people say, hey, wow, we love it. And here's broken roads. Where's the money going? Why we can't do it? We charge so much tax on it. are, gotta work on it. And with with the state and with the federal, we have a lot of problems. I hope that I answered maybe.
Yes, I mean, yes, passionate. Like I said, our Kalinga community is very passionate about our town. Not only our town, but our surrounding communities around us. We have that passion that we work together.
Yes.
And I've seen throughout the past. I mean, I've lived here almost all my life. I went through the earthquake and everything. You know, um, I've been, like you said, the youth. I've been a coach for 15, 16 plus years. And I see these kids growing up. I've seen a lot of them and leave because there's nothing. 18 years of them not having nothing. It's one of the things that gets me when I see candidates say, come to our town and say, hey, we're gonna do this. None of those supervisors notices that we have 2 county beautiful parks that have been
Yes.
destroyed and not single one has put a single cent on them. And that's one thing that one of the major things that I want to see is our community that used to be our playground, and that we want to go back and show it to our kids, not only our kids, but our grandkids or whatever, whatever in the future. Because not a single time they have put a single cent in those two, Mineral Springs County Park and Los Gatos Park. Not only Los Gatos Park, it's a historical monument. If you look it up, you'll see their celebration is being done in Fresno because that's destroyed. That's one thing I would love to see with any candidate put that passion in around our surrounding areas, and especially in our community.
Well said. Can you leave us your contact information by chance?
Absolutely.
We'd
I'd love to do
appreciate that. And if you
Yeah.
could hand us, if you had a card or something like that, that way we could get in touch with you.
Definitely, definitely. No, thank you for that. And I see that you guys are really passionate about your city. And that's my engineering business, but there's my cell numbers on it. And
Perfect.
yep, also I might have a few these in the case that some more information about myself.
Okay.
But yeah, no, definitely. I thank you for giving me time, and I could tell you what
Thank
I'm
you.
on my face. That's what I am.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
would have never turned away. And this is how we're doing it at the schools out there. We were on the. Just I'll give you a little example, then I'll finish that up. Being on the board over 6 years, president of the board. When I joined the board out there, we were ranking out of 35, we were on 16, and now we are on a fourth ranking, and in our districts. So I knew that these kids are more important than education. If you get the education, you need a CTE program here in the valley, and especially in this town too. Vestal College doing it great. I worked on those before with them, a lot of stuff development, and we need more of those programs. We need to have more children needs to be involved so they could survive in the valley. But I'd be happy to anytime you guys call me. I'd love to come here. I actually got it on April 18th. I'm putting a meet and greet meeting in this town, and I don't know what place. I'd like to be invite you guys. I'd love to be hear the questions. I'd love to be see what we need, and um, I will. What I say is, if I get on it, and we will be there, and with you guys, we can't do it alone either. You know, and yeah, there's a certain things that states and feds that's their under their duties, but being as a counties, we got a lot of money. We could do those. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you
guys
so
have a great
much. We
day.
appreciate you coming. All right. Any other public comments? Seeing none, I want to remind people that for our discussion items, if you want to talk on a discussion item, our comment cards are right over there for the discussion items. And we just ask that you fill one out and turn it in before the discussion item. That being said, we're going to move on to public hearings, which we have none. Going to move on to the consent calendar, and we have 10 items. Is there anything that council would like to pull from the consent calendar? No? Okay.
And Mayor, I have one also that I need to pull to make an adjustment to before you guys consider it.
Which one would that be?
And that's going to be number 5.6.
5.6?
Yep.
All right, let's start with that one, and then I'm just going to do 5.7 for a clarification point.
All right. So on 5.6, so this is the award for the splash pad project. We received bids on April 20, well, not on April 21st, 2022. We received bids on March 24th, 2026. And so as of writing this staff report, we had a apparent low bidder on the project. There was a bid protest filed on the, from another bidder. And after reviewing the bid protest and reviewing the bids, we have to determine that the apparent low bidder be non-responsive, and we have to go with the next, we're gonna be going with the next apparent lowest bidder. So with that, the recommendation on this is to go with HPC Enterprises. There's a difference in the amount of about $40,000 on the project, but unfortunately, with the protest and after reviewing, talking with the city engineer and the city attorney, that there was validity to the bid protest, and that we're under public contract code required to go with the next apparent low bidder, which would be HPC Enterprises. So with that, just wanted to clarify that. All the schedule, the award contract, the start of construction, completion of construction, all remains the same. It's just a matter of who we're awarding as the apparent low bidder for this project.
All right. Anyone on council have any questions on this item?
Was it because of discrepancies on the low bidder? And is there any penalties that is bound by the low bidder for taking that bid?
No, so it wasn't really a discrepancy between numbers or anything like that. It was a failure to add some contractors that were required.
So in the packet it had, you had to add subcontractors to your bid process, and those were not listed.
In the subcontract and by the public contracts code.
So by doing that, is that low bidder responsible for the $40,000?
They are not. So they're what happens is because they're not responsive, their bid is just deemed not responsive at all.
Any other questions from council?
Yeah, and does this also still include the 10% contingency?
Yes, so the total authorization will be 492, 230, 29. So, and that includes the 10% contingency. So that'll be the new authorization from, I think, 444, 456 was the previous.
Any other questions? Seeing none, moving on to 5.7, and this is the support for the Better Road Safe Streets Transportation Measure. Representative from them did reach out, and the reason I'm bringing this up is one that Ramirez wasn't here last time, so I just wanted to make sure that he got a chance to weigh in on this as well if he wanted to. And then also they wanted to have me make sure it was okay that they could put their names of us on support for their letter. And they had also looked and said that there was a couple pictures that weren't on our website, which I explained we had a couple people that were appointed recently, and they also wanted to reach out and see if they could get pictures to go with that. So I guess just reaffirming this, our support for this, and then if there's any objections to someone's name being put on there, then I could relay that information to them. Anyone have any questions or comments or anything? We did. You're good? Okay. All right, then I'm good with that. All right, so item number 5.1 through 5.10 on the consent calendar with the changes to 5.6. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to adopt the consent calendar with the changes.
I'll second.
So we move those in second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Consent calendar passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 6, ordinance presentation, discussion, and potential action items. 6.1, authorization to issue requests for qualifications for public information consulting services.
Yes, so Mayor, Council, staff has two recommendations. One is to authorize the city manager to issue an RFQ for public information consulting services, and then also authorize the city manager to evaluate responses and return to the city council with a recommended consultant and professional services agreement for approval. We talked briefly, or we talked extensively actually about this at a previous meeting about hiring a public information consultant. And so for us to be able to basically put out information to the public, monitor public sentiment, recommend strategies to improve trust and transparency, and then help to proactively communicate before, essentially before issues escalate. So we're looking at conducting surveys and polling of the community, some maybe priority priorities, concerns, and then develop information related to public safety and city resources. So that'll be kind of the initial approach that we'll take with this consulting service. And so attached is the RFQ. At this point, staff is just requesting any comments related to the scope and the basically if there's any questions or comments you have on the RFQ. And then once it's approved, then we'll go ahead and advertise that on our website, and and then we'll evaluate the responses as they come in for the council's selection.
So I just want to make sure that this includes, and it looks like it does, community engagement.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Any questions from council? See, can I entertain a motion for approval? Motion for approval?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we need a roll call, or is this just a simple majority?
As long as, if it's unanimous,
Okay.
fine, but otherwise.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? 6.1 passes unanimously. 6.2, strategic priorities overview and for year 26-27 budget direction. Great, Sean?
So this is kind of our kickoff to the fiscal year 27 budget. We just had our training with staff today on the process as staff's going to start developing up the project number, the budget numbers for each individual departments. But we wanted to kind of bring this item forward to the council just to kind of get an overview from a strategic planning perspective, get some feedback from the council as we start developing the budget to make sure we can incorporate some of your guys' priorities as well. As you recall, March 29th, City Council participated, March 29th of last year, participated in a facilitated goal-setting session to establish strategic priorities for the city. The purpose of that session was to align the council and executive leadership on key focus areas, strengthen working relationships, and identify priority initiatives intended to enhance quality of life, public safety, infrastructure, and economic development within the community. The outcome of those sessions was the identification of 6 primary strategic priority areas. Number 1 was infrastructure and city improvements. 2 was community engagement and events. 3, public safety and emergency preparedness. 4 was technology and administrative modernization. 5 is employee and organizational development. And 6 was housing and economic development. Since that time, staff's been actively working to implement projects and initiatives aligned with these priorities and has incorporated them into the ongoing operations, capital planning, and policy development. Additionally, since the adoption of these priorities, the composition of the city council's changed, and so newly appointed council members were not part of the original strategic planning session. And so I feel it's appropriate to provide a summary of the adopted framework and confirm alignment moving forward to make sure that you guys are all kind of in sync with the 6 priorities, or if there's any adjustments to those 6 priorities that were originally approved by the council. So this item is just kind of intended to serve as a high-level review of the strategic direction and to facilitate your guys' discussion as staff begins preparation of the fiscal year 27 budget. So I want to focus on confirmation that the existing strategic priority areas continue to reflect the council's direction, identification of any adjustments or areas of increased emphasis, consideration of whether the city should focus on completing existing initiatives or expanding into new efforts, and then opportunities for you guys to introduce new ideas or initiatives for consideration. So the city currently has a significant number of projects and initiatives underway that we kind of update the council on monthly across all departments. So as part of this discussion, staff seeking policy level direction to ensure that available resources, including funding and staffing capacity, are aligned with your guys' highest priorities. So it's not intended to revisit or recreate the entire strategic plan, but rather realign and refine the city's direction to ensure continued progress and alignment with council's expectations. So with that, Mayor, I'll kind of let you lead, and then any questions you have for me, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Okay, so I'd just like to say that I appreciate all the work that everyone's doing and done on this. There's a lot of things that were on that list that have been accomplished, a lot of city infrastructure, things that may not be like outgoing towards the public to see, but roofing, flooring, bathrooms, things that make our city strong here for our employees and increase staff morale and make it safe is a good thing. And a lot of those things have been accomplished, and I know that some things are still in the works. So I really appreciate everyone working hard on that. And with that, I'll open it up to council. See what kind of things that you'd like to add. If there's any projects that we've been discussing and you'd like added to this list to fall underneath one of these categories. It could either be to think about how we could improve or whether or not we want to look into something in the future. It could be something just simple for staff to look at, or it could be something that we've already discussed and you just want to make sure it goes on the list.
Just a quick question. You have them listed out here, 6 primary strategic priorities. Is this in order of importance? I don't remember if we did that or not.
No, I don't think there was a level of importance. I think what this did is this kind of outlined when we started talking about projects and things and initiatives and items that you were looking for myself and my staff to focus on. It really came down to these 6 priority areas. So we kind of looked at that. And so when we look at like infrastructure and city improvements, we had projects that were identified with that. And same thing with public safety and emergency preparedness and community engagement and events. So, I mean, perfect example, community engagement and events was we need someone that we can hire that's going to be that, and so we hired Jasenia. And so our public outreach coordinator position came out of those discussions saying, how are we going to accomplish getting information out to the public so people are informed? That was the approach in terms of the implementation to address these issues. And so I think we're, so far that's working. I think that's kind of where we're at in terms of, we talked about employee and organizational development. We had the employee appreciation dinner. We've done some different things internally to support employee development. So those are things that we're working on. Public safety, from the new engine to ambulances. And so I think we've got a lot that we're doing under each one of these categories. And so I think first of all is the council still aligned with these 6? And if that's the case, then is there anything that falls under these that we're not doing now, or maybe moving forward that may have financial impacts where we have to spend some money next fiscal year? We want to make sure we can implement these things and we can put these things forward. Staff will be coming back with a project list. I think this project list is going to be a lot smaller than it was last year. But I think that we're definitely open to making sure that we get information from you guys too, and if there's things you want to see. I know specifically was asked at the last meeting that we maybe be ahead of it already, but just shade structures in our parks. That's already in the works, but that's an example of, what are things we're looking for. We're looking to improve our parks a little bit more. Are there any specific street improvements that we're looking for? I think those are kind of things we're looking from you guys, so we can develop these up front and then really focus on those to get these done. Because I've been really pushing my staff to say, hey, these are our priorities. These are the things we really need to focus on moving forward. Because I know during our discussions, there was a consensus that, hey, we've got all these things going on, but we're not seeing things get done. And sometimes I felt that way, where I felt like we were moving a million things in one direction, but nothing was ever getting to the finish line. And so that's where we wanted to make sure we were taking the right approach and saying, hey, yeah, these are things that we can get done in this fiscal year and not just continue to carry them over to multiple fiscal years.
I agree with the list. I like all those things. There's a couple of things that I would like to see moved up or added, whichever. One is the food court, the food truck park. And one is maybe a facelift of some kind on the old city hall building that's out here right off of Elm. It's kind of in the public view. Thoughts? I'm not talking a renovation or anything, but some paint. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paint, flowers, stuff.
When did these priorities become a thing right now? Like when did these priorities come up? And when did you start this?
In March of last year.
March of last
So we went through a strategic planning effort. We had a facilitator come in and actually do the full strategic effort. It was an all-day thing on a Saturday, which came out of this. And then we implemented it as we went into the budget year.
So I've been here for a couple months, so I'm new, but I think I can think about things that have already happened throughout March to now. We're meeting some of these items, right? But how often are you having to recap and review these six primary strategic?
So I think the plan is that this fiscal year coming up, we're gonna budget for it and we're gonna do it again in the spring next year.
So is this something that on the last meeting, I asked to keep a running tally of accomplishments and where we're at percentage wise when we reach these items of, of improvements and safety, etc. I think I'm still going to reiterate, I'd like to see that, and the public would be, I think we're doing a disservice by not informing them again, that, because there's so many wins, right? But um, I'd like to keep bringing this up again every quarterly to see what we can fix, because with every evolving changes going on throughout these, when we're executing some of these item lists that touch on these six strategic plans, um, things are changing, they're moving fast, and we should, be nimble about it and be able to add things. So I just want to, I want to be able to bring this up again, because in the future I might have another item or something particularly that I'd like to see fit in one of these buckets, of these six buckets.
Yeah, and I think that really what the plan is that when we went through the strategic planning effort, it was an effort to make sure that we can spend our resources and our efforts on specific items to make sure we have the staffing capacity and the ability to actually execute a lot of these. And as you guys have seen, the monthly update of all the Envision projects, those are all the projects that came out of that strategic planning effort. So as you know, I've got 4.5 pages here of projects that we're working on. And a lot are highlighted, as you can see, which means these are projects that are complete. So we're making progress, and the facilitator, was excellent in being able to really kind of hone in on things that we want to focus on to make sure that we have the capacity to complete these. I feel it's important. I think just timing wise, it was challenging this year, but I think as we go into next year, doing that strategic planning and doing a refresher on it to make sure these are the priorities of the council, and then look at other projects and other things that we want to try to accomplish. Because some things may be as simple as, and I'm not using the generator as an example, but as buying a police car compared to implementing a clean initiative or animal control. So those take a lot of time and resources, where purchasing a police vehicle is getting quotes and writing a check. So it's a variety of things, and it can go from programs to policies to initiatives and just purchases or things that we want to do and try to accomplish. So, and we are working on trying to develop a model that will be able to visually show the progress. I think we're making progress. It's not visually shown that I think the way you envision it, and I think we can definitely get there. We're working on that. And I know that, maybe by the end of this, depending on when we'll have that, but we'll be able to kind of give an idea of where we're at making progress. And we'll be able to visually show the public what we're getting done.
Yeah, like, again, I'd like to keep bringing this up just to see where we're tracking quarterly. I think it's a good idea.
For sure. I think
it's a
we
great
can find a way, we can find a way to kind of update on a quarterly basis that's more meaningful rather than just the monthly reports, because monthly reports will show progress, but maybe on a quarterly basis, we can seek, feedback from you guys, just kind of what we're doing right now. I don't imagine this being a long, drawn out conversation, so quarterly is something that could potentially work. Yeah.
So maybe under the community engagement portion of it, we could add the section for the modeling program that Councilman Arroyo is speaking about. That way you could add that to your list. That way that we can make sure that it gets done. A lot of things that are the timing of this is the whole reason is because it's going to be near the budget. So they're going to come back, and basically what we're doing is we're looking at, hey, what things do we have that is currently going on? And then if we want to add new things, that way that we can have it budgeted for next year. So it's not that we can't add things to the budget mid-year, because we can do the adjustments like we're approved tonight. But it gives the staff a good idea. So if there's something extra like that you've just been thinking, hey, I have an idea of something that you want to work on. I know that Councilman Louder has been talking with the car group, and so we could add that to the list. These things don't have to be direct projects that would have an exact result or an exact timeline, but it could be something that we can put on the list so that we know that this is something that's there.
Yeah, another thing, I think Roger kind of mentioned this, but we need to have like the most important and least important time, and then be wise to have that, because then that reassures that the most important things are being executed.
I just want to say, last year we beat him up pretty bad, right? I mean, we set a pretty big list. Can you count on that list how many of those are done 1 year later? I mean, it's pretty impressive, actually, you know, so I just want to give him credit where credit is due, right? Before we add more to the plate, because we are going to add more.
About 22 projects.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So one thing that I'd like to add onto there, and it kind of piggybacks onto what Councilman Ramirez said last time. Under infrastructure and city improvements, I would like to see us look at all of our city parks that we have for improvements that we could do. And then also, I would like to talk about adding a city park. Specifically, I look at areas of town that don't have them, right? So if we could investigate areas in town that we could get another city park in, and then also with that, investigate, there's some parks grants that we could work with Townsend on trying to see if we could qualify for some of those parks grants as well. I don't want the grant to be the holdup though, because I do want us to be able to execute this. But if we could add that to the list, then I think that would be great.
Yeah, you just you got in my head like you knew what I was gonna ask. But yeah, that's great point. I've seen our town is growing and our parks during festive days, holidays, they're getting pretty packed. You know, even the rec department parks. Um, I mean, if we could give something that they can afford, I mean, it'll be great. I mean, I'd like to see that. Also, something that I was thinking that I've been going to little towns, and as we've been taking our trips, um, the our walkways, our paths, they're beautiful. I'd like to see if we could invest when we were driving back those purple flowers that were all over those. I mean, they during Bloom Day. I mean, they'll give something, you know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Purple tumbleweeds, but something that will give more passionate to the individuals, the community walking those. Um, I know during April and everything starts growing. Um, some community members were saying that you can't see the path anymore because of the grass being so high. I'd like to see something where they're pretty clean, but once those grass, and I did see that they weed them down. But a lot of times, I would like to see,
So what I hear when I hear these things, and this is kind of the facilitator in me, is that kind of a heightened focus on our parks, our greenscapes, and really put in some effort to landscape these areas, and because it requires us to put funding into those resources. So we want to see improvements in our parks. We want to see, I mean, and I know we've got a tennis court and a basketball court at Centennial Park is dilapidated. It hasn't been resurfaced in a long time. Sandalwood's having the same issues over there. I think we can put some investment and just show in the budget process an investment in our parks, our greenscapes, our medians, our areas where we can spruce up and make it look nice. But it's also good to have that priority come from you guys, so I can delegate that to staff to implement, because I know we've really been trying to get the downtown cleaned up because a lot of the plant materials out of the downtown, but the plan has been to put it in there, but now it's being able to prioritize those things. So this is always helpful from my standpoint, but we can just show in the budget, like when we have these conversations, where we can prioritize or where we can actually put some investment in.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, because road writ control in these parks is a big deal. Ton of gopher holes, and I think that's something that you probably need to bring up for public safety.
That is a constant battle. We have invested in that.
It's like whack-a-mole out there.
Every day. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's throughout the years. I mean, when I was a kid, we were able to go to school and just go play soccer or something like that. As days move forward, school's getting isolated. Building fences. The park is starting to charge for stuff. We get these recreational clubs, sports. As everybody, I don't know if you guys know, out in the community, we have an actual professional soccer team in Coalinga that their home base is in Fresno, because we don't have, or some of our businesses do not want to help them. And it's kind of embarrassing when this group of kids is wanting to put their base professional soccer team, and I'm talking they're professional soccer. One of them already got picked up for Newcastle in England, and it's amazing. These kids are amazing. Not only they're locally, and they're coming from Portugal and Brazil, and I want to see something being done for us to support them, and them building their future. It's very interesting that they picked our town to be a semi-pro soccer team. It's amazing. They're pretty amazing if you guys check them out. And as anybody didn't know, I'm in the environmental table for the League of Cities, and I put my statement there. They always talk about, oh, bring back wildlife and stuff. So I tell them I'm fighting for our community out there, that we don't get looked at, and a lot of the wildlife comes from Coalinga. So I just want to make that statement. But I think all the staff was doing, and doing stuff like that will bring wildlife and people back into our town.
So I got a question. Would it help if we continued this item to the next meeting? Because I want everyone to first off understand what we're doing, and then second, give us time because now that we understand, then we can go back and we may be able to even ask some community members that may be here. We have a couple people that we might be able to put our heads together and come up with some thoughtful things moving forward. And so if we continued, if anyone has ideas tonight, absolutely add them to the list. But we'll continue this to the next meeting as well. We'll bring it back. That way that we have a whole nother space, so that if you get ideas from the public or you come up with different ideas, we can add them to the list. That way it's just easier for the budgeting. If we have ideas, we don't have to hit them mid-budget with it. You guys okay with that? Yes. And then did anyone want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm going to echo pretty much some of the same things. Just going through it and everything, I'm going to kind of jump off of what Councilman Schindler said. But like infrastructure and city improvements, especially with the reorganization of our main vein coming through town, I want to really show focus on improving the look. I know we have previous councilmen talk about the Iron Zoo project. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity to take it through the main vein. I'm doing a little side thing and getting some information. I'd like to see a mural project possibly looked at through town. We can have businesses donate their blank facade. We able to hire somebody, get somebody to volunteer. Huron has some smaller things going on. They've got some local spray painters do their thing. So as we have this nice new road coming through, I'd like to have focus. People stop, look, hey, look at that, get out, spend money, stop at our businesses. Community engagement and events. I definitely want to highlight my project, the SCCA. They're very, very passionate and eager, and they're ready to get going. I want to show major emphasis on that. I know we have to deal with airport stuff as far as a temporary spot, but I want to move forward as getting them permanent here. They're constantly engaging with me, and they're very eager. The rally side has now reached out to me, which is the dirt track, and they have a lot bigger base with a bigger pocket. Public safety and emergency preparedness. I've had people reach out to me really recent, actually all with the same thing. Not to throw shade at Councilman Ramirez, but the speed humps. Washington Street, multiple people have contacted me about Washington Street and getting people to slow down. Four-way stop might be too much to ask on every intersection there, but I think speed humps through there really would help. And we have a huge influx of kids coming down there straight to the school. And I really think we need to slow them down through there. Technology and administration. I'd like to see some more signage. I think the LED signs are perfect. I think coming into town, especially over at our wooden oil pump, something there maybe, some on the other side of town, both our bridges. If we had something that advertised who we are, what we got going, why you should stop, and people coming in out of town going to work out there at the prison, it'd be good to catch them. They're keeping them informed as they're moving and going. They have a sign they see every single day going to and from. Employee organization and development. We want to see that 5-day work week. So get that on there. Let's get that going. That's it for now. I'm sure, like I said, I think it's perfect to bring it back. I think we need to emphasize on it and talk about it. I mean, you're doing a great job knocking them all out. So if we can get them all to you ahead of time, I think that'd be good.
And Sean, I think we did have for those speed humps, I think we dedicated a certain. Huh?
You had 5 more coming or
Yeah, so I was just gonna get an update on that. So where are we with adding, cause I remember that we did,
We added it in the budget. I don't
Right.
know if we've ordered them, but I think it's just designating some locations for them.
okay,
So we can get them ordered. We can get them pretty. They don't take very long to get. So
It's not my district, but I had multiple people reach out last week, and it really made me go by and look. And I mean, people are flying through there, so I think that's the perfect opportunity to.
update on something we're
So we're
considering.
gonna bring it back at the next meeting, that we're gonna look at the entire school complex area from Van Ness, from like Birch and Third to, we were gonna go down to, Washington and California, and then all the way up to Cambridge, and look at that entirety. That traffic flow's a mess, and we know that, but we have a lot of stakeholders there, we have a lot of moving parts. So we hope to bring back a item for you guys to consider to look at that in a study. So, and we can possibly extend that to Washington. Is my point.
I saw your map. I had it cut down. Yeah, so we can definitely branch it out. Washington, we know, been an issue. I've even had conversations with the chief to send the speed trailer out there multiple occasions because of the speeding on Washington. So
And actually, I pulled over and just experienced it for a little bit, and
It might not.
they're flying.
It might not be a great spot for speed bumps because of the speed, but maybe speed tables or some other common effect.
Just something to bring emphasis to slow down. Like I said, four-way stops is probably too much to ask because that's a lot throughout there. I don't know if it would congest it at all, but just to get people to slow down.
Yeah.
So that would add to the public safety emergency frames, right, underneath that?
yeah, yeah, we can look at that. We'll include it in the overall scope of this kind of the smart sunset, looking at those improvements. But we have a traffic calming plan that was adopted about 4 years ago. So it identifies different types of traffic calming measures for different areas and types of roadways. So we'll look at that and see what our recommendations came from the engineers that prepared that plan for us as well.
Don't tell me you guys are looking at roundabouts and one ways over there.
We're not going to bring that up tonight,
Okay.
maybe.
so is there anything, else that council would like to add tonight? And if not, is everyone okay with, moving this to the next meeting as well? So we can take a little bit of time and think about it and come bring it back.
You did give an update for that veterans hall?
Yeah, so it's still in the works. I've still got to get some more information on it. We're starting to learn more about how we can coordinate. It's gonna take some coordinating efforts with some folks probably in the Fresno area. And then we think that might be a really good opportunity for an earmark project, maybe for next year in DC. So we can talk about that as we start prioritizing projects for next year. But that could be a discussion item with our electeds in DC next year for veterans. I think those have been funded in the past too. Just know, we just need to know how it's gonna be operated, maintained, and that'll be probably fall on us to be able to try to figure that out.
Thank you.
All right, you have some little bit of direction, and then we'll bring it back?
Good.
Perfect. Gonna move on to item number 7.1, city manager's announcements.
I have a few. I'm gonna defer to Greg to, I think he wanted to give a little update on the smoke alarm event they had.
Yeah, so last meeting, I announced the smoke detector installation day we were gonna do with the Red Cross, and I just wanted to give you an update on how it went. So last Saturday, we had about 60 volunteers between the Gold Star Wellness Center, Red Cross Fire Department, and some community members. And we went out from about 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We did about 60 houses. We installed over 80 smoke detectors. And on their metrics, they consider how many people living in the home with how many lives were potentially saved that day. And they said about 150 potential lives were saved that day by installing smoke detectors in homes that didn't have any. So huge success. They were really impressed with our town. They were impressed with our community support, and have already reached out to kind of do another one. For people that didn't get a smoke detector, we've seen some comments on social media how they can get one. The Gold Star Wellness Center is actually a Red Cross partner now, so they can contact them directly, and they are authorized to install the smoke detectors in their home. So that's it. Thanks.
All right. I just have a few. I think you guys may have seen on social media, but I had the privilege of being able to present over at the Women's Club yesterday. Great crowd, great lunch. It was really it was really fun to be able to talk to them about all the great stuff we got going on right now. A lot of good feedback from them, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of good questions, and so it was a great lunch and great opportunity to kind of convey and get the message out on kind of what the city's doing right now and what we're accomplishing, and just questions that people had that and may or may not things that they may or may not know about. So we were able to get that information out. So appreciate them inviting me to come and present. Air show, we've been Jasini's been working diligently on air show. We're still trying to get our contracts in line, getting additional performers, but we do want to make an announcement that our the ticket launch for the air show will be tomorrow. And so we're working with a 10-star. We have actual a separate ticketing company we're using this year to help with the marketing. So we'll have tickets on sale. We'll probably start advertising some type of early bird special probably in the next week or so, but we're going to at least have the ticketing site is going to be live. There'll be a link from our website to the ticketing site. And so we'll probably push out something. It's kind of a soft launch tomorrow, but then we'll probably push out something on our socials starting next week. So you may not see anything. Jasenia will actually be out as my next item is the Autism Awareness Walk at Keck Park on Saturday from 1 to 3. I think we're leading the charge at the request of the CHRPD. So who's ever out of all of you, I think most of you guys are attending. Any staff, I know the chief is coming. We'll be leading they've asked to have us help lead the walk at 1 o'clock. And then the city will have a booth as well. So we'll have some information. If you sign up for the app or sign up for tickets for the air show, Jasenia's got some little things for folks who sign up and while supplies last. So we'll have some of our goodies that we're doing specifically to the air show, to market the air show. A couple other things. Water allocation. We actually got a notice from the Bureau just about last week that they increased the allocation by 5%. So we're at 70% for what we call M&I for the city. I think Ag even got a 5% bump as well. And so that's just more water we can sell because we already have enough really for this year for what we currently receive and utilize for our residents. So this actually helps us to be able to not only support our farmers and our surrounding owners, but also it helps with the water fund to help reduce that burden on our ratepayers. So it's kind of a win-win. We kind of solidified the details for our team building event. So you guys should have received an email from Shannon with some dates of availability. Be as flexible as possible because we're trying to book 13 people. So so if you can check that, and we'll hopefully get a date solidified sometime in May for our team building event. And I think, and now with the council approving the contract for our photographer, I'm hoping, and I'll confirm with everyone, but I'd like to see if we can get everyone here a little early, and maybe I'll talk with the gentleman from Rad Studios to see if he's available, but maybe before the council meeting on the 16th, if we can do all new photos for the council, and then maybe even do staff photos too. Not only to update the website, because I do have some blank spaces on the website that I need updated photos so I can get everyone's photos on the website, as well as we want to put nice new photos up on our new painted walls rather than the old ones. So I'll confirm that, but I'm thinking that maybe on the 16th, sometime we've historically done that before meetings because everyone's ready to go. We can just get here a little bit early, and I know they're pretty quick about not getting those photos knocked out for us. And that's it. There.
All right. Council members' announcements and reports.
I just want to say thank you to the staff. I know they've been working hard on everything. I know last week we were in meetings up and down. How's your sleep doing? I know we got up, went back up, got a lot of things getting knocked out on these committee meetings. We're putting our town in the map, and a lot of people are reaching out. A lot of people reached out to me after my meeting, and hopefully they stay intact with us. I gave staff information, their information where they could contact you guys so you guys know more information. But yeah, just for ideas and stuff. Police, DPD doing great. Fire, I always hear good things about you guys. everything's good. You guys are doing great. I just, you know, I always had a state of mind that I think this is where I'm gonna stay the rest of my life. The way everybody's running it, the way everybody's doing things. I mean, I know there's community members out there or people that think that we're not doing nothing, but we are. We are, and it's all because of you guys and everybody else. So thank you, and looking forward to the future.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none. City treasurer's announcements. Mayor's announcements. I think Gimme Love has their Dollars for Dogs event this year. I think it's on the 16th. Unfortunately, that's the same day as our council meeting, but I think it's $65, and they are doing tickets now. So if anyone wants tickets to that, you can reach out to Gimme Love. The code enforcement, with weeds and stuff, I'd like to just let the public know that I see a lot of properties, businesses, and whatnot that have their weeds that are really getting tall, and I'm guessing by next time that we have a meeting, we'll be hearing complaints from people saying that they got code violations. So now is your time. Take care of your weeds, take care of your lawns, and then also I've heard people say that the city, that we have some areas too, and being in contact, the city is working on getting their areas done. Let's see, we did the ICSC. We'll come back, and I just talked to Sean. He'll have a kind of like a more formal report on what we did at ICSC. I did visit my committee as well in Costa Mesa for the government and transparency for the League of Cities. We really only had one item that we kind of discussed, and it was about the difference between general law cities and charter cities, and having, amazingly enough, having cities being able to fund people's campaigns, which I'm not in favor of myself at all. I don't think that should be a part of that. I don't think public money should go towards someone's personal campaign that they're running. But a lot of cities felt like that since certain cities are allowed to do it, that they should open it up and to allow other cities to be able to do it if they wanted to. And since it was kind of a local control item, it did pass unanimously. It's nothing that's going to be forced on cities to allow. But I did bring up that, once you allow something, then the government tries to mandate it. So I want to keep that on everyone's radar. I definitely voiced concerns that I didn't think it was correct, but I do enjoy local control, because so many times at the League of Cities, even though that's what they stand for, people will give away their local control. So that's what happened at that meeting. I think that's it for tonight. Future agenda items?
I have something. It's not really an agenda item, but I just wanted to get something back on your list. Maybe, I think we talked about it a while back. There's a section along Polk right before you get to Monterey.
Yes.
That section, apparently there was some agreement that was all going to be replaced, and it still hasn't. So just wanted to get that back on your list.
Any other future agenda items?
If this, it's not enough future agenda. I just want to see when we do a street, I just want to see what we can do, because I know Polk got done, and now there's already dips, and I know you guys have heard it. I just want to see what's the warranty on it.
Is there any warranty?
Because I would like to see the road last at least half a term of my.
We're gonna work on that one. We've kind of learned from that experience. We started doing a bunch of like kind of grind and overlays. I'll make it quick. We did a lot of grind and overlays, and the grindings, it's just there was structural issues with some of the part of the road, and so that's where we've run into those dips, because even though once we grind it down and put the cap on, it didn't. They call it like a mill and fill, and basically it needed more structural support there was some issues under the existing asphalt that needed to be addressed. So we're kind of avoiding that approach until we do a lot more extensive coring and understanding the structural stability of the road. But we're definitely gonna be looking at that. It's on our radar in the future to do that. Thank God it was federal funding, but we gotta come back and do some improvements there. It may be some sections where there is, because there's water lines on both sides of that road, and we're noticing that there's some trench failures, and so that's where you're seeing those ruts in the road.
Okay, thank you. Any other future agenda items?
Yeah, I just needed an update on the SCCA project, airport, what we got going on.
Yeah, I'll get you something next week. Mercedes reached out to the FAA. We're waiting on a response. We've been starting to see responses come back from them on a couple other of our requests, and so we're just waiting for the clearance from FAA. And so and Mercedes unfortunately was out today, and so by next week I should have something. I'll shoot you guys an email and update.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Seeing none, gonna move to the closed session where I think we have 1, 2, 3 items. Conference with labor negotiators, real property negotiations, and conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 549569, D2 or 3, one case. Do we expect to be reporting anything out? We don't. All right, with that being said, this part of the meeting is adjourned.